How close is the DEA to making a decision on rescheduling marijuana? President Joe Biden's mention of ongoing marijuana reform efforts during his annual State of the Union address is considered a landmark achievement for MJ policy by political observers as well as stakeholders in the $34 billion U.S. cannabis industry. But those keen to know exactly when the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration will issue its highly anticipated response to health regulators' revolutionary 2023 recommendation to move marijuana Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 of the Controlled Substance Act remain frustrated. Anyone who says they know is full of it, said Andrew Klein. Big up to Klein, a Denver-based senior counsel for Perkins Cole, who co-chairs the law firm's cannabis industry group, told MJ Biz via email Monday. Only DEA, DOJ knows about timing, he added. It's a black box. It's questionable whether marijuana was top of mind for U.S. Representative Hakeem Jeffries when the House Democrat leader referred to the president as smoking Joe Biden during a news conference the day after the State of the Union address. But the cannabis industry was all smiles Tuesday night after Biden offered a brief mention of the DEA's ongoing review of the president's October 22 directive to reclassify cannabis under federal law. And pressure for the U.S. Department of Justice to act is coming from states' attorneys generals and members of Congress, as well as industry stakeholders. Though marijuana retailers would likely enjoy significant tax relief if marijuana were rescheduled, the attorney generals are advocating for rescheduling as a matter of public safety. Rescheduling decision, a closed process. Some industry stakeholders are still hopeful for a decision as early as next month, although that timeline is an educated guess at best. This is a closed process, agreed David Culver, the Washington, D.C. based senior vice president of public affairs at the U.S. Cannabis Council. I can't give you anything concrete, he told MJ Biz Daily via phone. Anybody that can tell you they can give you something concrete isn't telling the truth. But I still feel confident saying that we are going to see something out of the DOJ sooner rather than later. Not a timeline. Always as unreliable a narrator, the Washington, D.C. rumor mill has run conspicuously hot several times in recent months, only for results to disappoint. It happened before Christmas when an anticipated cannabis-related announcement by Biden turned out to be an expansion of pardons for nonviolent federal offenses involving marijuana possession. And it happened again in January when Adrian Sneed, a former Senate staffer who now works at the Washington, D.C. law firm, posted a LinkedIn that the latest intelligence indicated some announcement involving marijuana was forthcoming. Meanwhile, whispers and worries are mounting that Biden's marijuana reform efforts, which many advocates have slammed as inadequate, are too revolutionary for career law enforcement officials. Unidentified sources contend in a Saturday report by the Wall Street Journal that federal officials are at odds with Biden's rescheduling directive, raising specific concerns over THC potency. Observers told MJ Biz that the Post's report, while likely accurate, doesn't mean rescheduling is being thwarted or even slowed down. Federal change comes slowly. Rather, making the first substantive change in federal marijuana policy in more than 50 years is a difficult lift, and moving expeditiously in matters of federal law can take years. The truth is, the White House can't really just order rescheduling or descheduling to be done, said Sneed, a partner at Porter Wright's Washington, D.C. law offices. Congress can by passing a new law, but the president functionally cannot. Congress is having trouble just passing a budget, and it continues to play hot potato with the administration on cannabis. But mentioning the review process at all in the State of the Union, a speech where every word is carefully vetted and intensely debated before it reaches the presidential teleprompter, helps keep pressure on career law enforcement officials at DEA to move quickly and resolve this without undue delay. For their part, industry stakeholders remain confident and upbeat. We're very happy with where we're at. Adam Goers, the senior vice president of corporate affairs at multi-state marijuana operator the Cannabis company, formerly Columbia Care, told MJ Biz Daily, according to Goers' research, Thursday was the first time a U.S. president mentioned marijuana in a positive light during the State of the Union address. Never before has something like this moved so quickly, Goer said. And I think on Tuesday night, the president reminded the American public, and he reminded his administration, all of whom were sitting there, of what they are working on. I'm going to allow me to clean myself up and compose myself. At first, I'd like to hear what my fellow guests and panelists have to think about this article.
This is more bullshit. This is just more like
I love this story.
I
love this story.
Suspense.
So good.
They're just trying to add suspense, man.
Exactly.
A bunch of just,
fact that it's news that he said marijuana, right? I mean,
in all fairness,
that's news.
In all fairness, it's news that he even can still speak.
You know what?
And the orange guy is so eloquent.
He is.
Right. Exactly.
You understand everything he's saying.
That's what's going with that, Todd. Like they are so. This is Trump's marketing is just that much better, and the Republican marketing for him is that much better than the Democrats because Trump makes just as many gaffes, if not worse, and he stumbles over his words, doesn't know where the hell he is. Doesn't know where the hell he is at any given time of day. But we keep on hearing about how senile Joe Biden.
Did you see the handler? Did you see the handler during the State of the Union? Did you see the handler that was handling him?
Years old, dude. They're both 80 years old.
So to me, this is like a bad date night. It's like Congress without a climax. It's like the blue balls of bureaucracy.
Oh,
like,
boy.
The blue balls and the red caps.
When are we going to stop pretending that any of this is related to true structural change?
Nothing. None of it is.
I mean,
they already know what they're going to do. They're drumming up, like with my story, they're drumming up a bunch of like BS drama going on behind the scenes. The DEA is at odds with each other. The old guard thinks that they need to stick to the prohibition.
I hope they do.
They're running against Joe Biden, and Joe Biden is this pro-cannabis radical. Like, oh man, come on.
Let me give you a democratic. Let me give you a historic democratic analogy, okay?
Go ahead.
Here we go.
Obama had the opportunity, the wind at his back, and the power at his disposal
power in the sail.
to create hope, to create a single-payer, universal health care system. He could have done it. His base wanted him to do it. And he didn't do it. Okay.
Nope, he didn't.
He didn't do it. The single most important thing he could have done, he didn't do.
Yep.
So, if history is the biggest predictor of the present or the future, this is Biden's healthcare opportunity where he could do something monumental, and he's not going to do shit. He's going to have his vice president go out there on a stump speech to talk about the nonviolent simple possession and what they've done for those people, constituents.
You know it would be epic if they came out and before he made the announcement, they said, Joe Biden has not been experiencing cognitive decline at all. Every time you see him licking on a cone of ice cream, it's been infused ice cream.
It's high.
The whole damn time. It's been infused ice cream. He's just been high as shit. His whole presidency just licking on THC infused
until the State of the Union.
Winning a landslide if that's their messaging.
I'll tell you what.
Until the State of the Union includes him coming out on stage with a blunt and lighting it up. I really don't care how many times the word is mentioned.
Would it have to be a blunt?
How many times have you tripped up and fell because you ate too many edibles? How many times you fell off your bike because you were
that would have made Joe Biden seem really cool if the White House would have played it off, been like, oh, Joe Biden actually ate some Hunter's gummies, and all of a sudden, he fell off his bike. He would have made him seem way cooler.
Some of Hunter's gummies. Yep. So now you don't like people who do drugs, or you do like people who do drugs?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It would have been Hunter's gummies. Is all that I'm saying.
Why couldn't it have been somebody else's gummies?
I feel like he would have reached across the aisle and it would have been one of the Trump children's gummies. I feel like maybe Biden's plug is is Trump Jr. because those kids don't really have real jobs, right? They're just in that nepotism lane. So they got to have a little bit of a side hustle, and probably selling gummies to old men in Washington, D.C. qualified.
I think Trump and Biden's kids are both on the same substances. Let's keep it a buck.
All you guys are crazy. We're going to a commercial. We're going to be right back.